Is the mic working? Oh, yes, it is. Good. I'll just let everybody get seated. Wherever you may be in this journey that we call life, please know that you are welcome here within this beloved community at All People's Church Unitarian Universalist. I'm Marianne Clark, your co-celebrant for this morning. I use she, her pronouns. In the pulpit is our minister, Lori King Nelson, who uses both she, her, and they, them pronouns. Our theme for the month of May is Awakening Curiosity. We are especially pleased to greet those of you who have not been here before. For more information about us, please use the QR code found on the back of the order of service for our social media platforms. If you haven't yet done so, please sign in at the visitors table by the front door, where you can be placed on our mailing list to receive our weekly emails and our monthly newsletter. And at the end of the service, please stay and visit over coffee. Please settle comfortably now for our musical prelude.
Thank you, Misha. So before I start, I want to just give a little shout out to my son, Dimitri, who turned 31 today and is maybe the best Mother's Day present I've ever gotten. Yeah. They get old quick, don't they? Let's call ourselves to worship. Spirit of life, known to us in many ways, but so often in so many cultures in the image of a mother. Hold us in your arms this day. Let all that we value and all that we hold dear in the images of motherhood we carry be our guide. We're grateful for all the parents that share the community of this congregation, the young ones and the old ones, those still with us and those departed. May the blessings they give us be rich and overflowing. For some of us, our experiences and images of parents have been tarnished by absence or abuse. Let us not forget that not all mothers, not all parents have been able to rise to the many challenges that parenting brings us. May we find healing and maybe even forgiveness for all the ways that our parents fell short of fulfilling the love that gave us birth. The community of this church gives us a great blessing. We are gifted with the chance to celebrate births and parenting and the glorious unfolding of human potential. Today is a day for such celebration. Let us make the most of it. Let us use it for thanksgiving and renewal and rededication in the good company of loved ones and friends. May it be so. Amen.
To rise in body or spirit for the chalice lighting, our opening hymn, and the spoken affirmation. Our chalice lighting words are from Claudine Olivo. We light this chalice for mothers and for mothering, to celebrate those who have taken on the task of nurturing a young one, baby, child, or youth, into adulthood. To celebrate those who have nourished the light of truth and compassion in growing minds and hearts. To celebrate those who have committed time, money, energy to the growth of others in this world. We light this chalice to celebrate and hold dear this flame of love. Please now join in singing our hymn of the month for May. Stand as you're willing or able. Our opening hymn is number 38, Morning Has Broken. Please join me now in reciting our affirmation. The words are in the order of service and also are projected on the screens. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament. and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. The young and the young at heart are now invited to come forward for our time for all ages here at the front of the chancel.
Would anyone else like to come forward? You can be of any age. Yeah.
Oh, so let's bring the penny that was on my seat? Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, you don't have to bring it. I have more coins.
Oh,
I have more coins. If you didn't bring the one from your chair.
Oh, this one's two.
You just take one.
Together. Wow.
Look, do you want to take one?
That's a quarter.
Okay, there's no quarters in there.
No, but there is like a nickel sort of thing.
This is how I act around money too. I'm like, ooh, money. Okay, something shiny.
Three now. Well, you're meant to bring your coin.
There you go.
Okay. So now I got one of each.
Okay, if everybody will sit down, we'll talk about this.
I think these are stuck together with like egg yolk.
Egg yolk. Oh, that one's had, this one had a hard life.
And that one.
It has, yes. So, when I was somewhere around, I was about 9, my dad was in Vietnam, and that's another country if you don't know that. And there was a war going on there at the time. And when my dad came back, he brought me some money from Vietnam. Vietnamese money. I can't remember what their currency is called, but I treasured that money my whole life. I still have it. And that's been a lot of years to hold on to something. But there was one time when I couldn't find it. I had wanted to show it to somebody, and I went to look for it where I had left it, and I couldn't find it. And I should use a piggy bank, you're right. That would be smart to keep it in a very safe place.
That's where I keep my money.
Yeah. Oh, you keep yours in a piggy bank?
Yeah, I nearly lost my cash.
Well, you know, in a wallet, that's good, yeah. Well, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't find it. In a sock or a doll? A jar. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Well, so when I couldn't find mine, I felt like I really couldn't think of what it would be like without that. You ever lost something that meant so much to you, and you were so sad about that?
Yeah,
A dog?
Yeah.
Have you lost something?
Yeah, he lost 2 dogs.
2 dogs? Have you lost something that made you sad that you lost it? A kitten. How about y'all? Have y'all lost something?
Yes, I can't remember. Yes, I lose many things.
Many things, all the time.
I also found something. I found a mechanical pencil, like a phone charger.
You found a mechanical pencil and a phone charger?
And a mini bubble blower, too.
Oh, a mini bubble blower, too. That's kind of cool.
Tiny scissors. And a big yellow Lego baseball.
Oh, wow.
Sounds like somebody lost something, so somebody else lost that.
Yeah, and you found, well, sometimes that's what happens. We find something sometimes that someone else has lost. But it's a matter of how we handle things when we lose them.
After that, then
Yeah. So
I lost my cowboy a couple times.
if you lose something, should you go look for it?
Yeah.
Yes, if you care about it that much, then you should.
Okay, what if you lost a penny like that? Should you go look for it? Is a penny important enough to go look for and spend a lot of time looking for?
No.
But still.
Okay, it depends, right.
But I'll still take it.
Did you pick up a 3 from the ground?
So some things mean more than other things, right? When we lose them, some things will mean more than other things.
Have somebody else's coin.
Some things have sentimental value,
Oh, no, it was actually
and some things have monetary value, right? So I wouldn't be real sad if I lost all these pennies, but I would be sad if I lost my billfold that had all of my dollars in it, right?
Yeah.
So we have to learn as we grow.
Do you want these back?
We have to learn as we grow how to handle those kinds of loss, right?
Do you want them back?
No, you can keep them. Yeah, whatever you'll take, you can keep them. Ooh, it is spinning around. All right. Well, you can practice that when you go back with Trayvon, huh? Yeah.
I'm going to Ari, and I think we have a visitor.
All right. I want y'all to think about this week, about how you will handle losing something like this, okay?
I don't want to.
And sometimes that means people too.
Yeah.
How you handle losing a friend or losing a neighbor or something like that, okay?
I lost a friend because she moved all the way to South Korea.
South Korea, you can lose a friend to moving away, far, far away.
That's the other side of the world.
Yeah.
They're in bed right now.
Oh my gosh, to Tennessee. Well, I want y'all to go have fun in RE and,
I went to Mexico once.
oh goodness, and have
And
a
San Antonio.
great Mother's Day, okay?
Yeah.
All right, thanks for
forcing me
coming
to make
up.
something.
You can keep the coins if you want.
That's good.
Okay.
I'll keep them.
I'm gonna...
We can sing them out.
It's fun, right?
I have one. Like a plant.
I raised a bunch of kids, but they sometimes are more than I am. They're wonderful, though. They're inquisitive, they're smart, and they're loving and compassionate. And I'm just so blessed to be surrounded by them. Our reading this morning is by Monica Dobbins, and it's called The Guest of Grief. Anyone who has lost something they thought was theirs forever finally comes to realize that nothing really belongs to them. Ever since the beginning of this school year, I've had a hard time getting ready in the morning, a hard time getting out of bed, unfocused, glued to my phone, just wasting time generally. I've easily recognized that this is weird behavior for me. I'm a morning person and a go-getter overall, but couldn't put my finger on why I was doing this. This morning it finally dawned on me. It's grief. I've been unconsciously grieving the fact that my daughter no longer needs my help getting ready for school. She gets up by her alarm, she gets dressed by herself, makes her own breakfast and lunch, and heads out the door on time and walks to school by herself. Since she was in kindergarten, she and I have always gotten ready together in mirror fashion, doing the same things at the same time so that she could develop an independent routine and so that I didn't spend mornings yelling at her. It was just easier with one kid to do everything together. That's not happening now, and it probably won't ever again. I hadn't really processed what that means until now. On the one hand, it means freedom, sleep later, do yoga in the morning, leave early and have coffee somewhere. I'm looking forward to a time when I can embrace those possibilities. But first, I need to feel this grief. I need to embrace it for a while and then think about what life will be like as she grows in independence and wisdom. I need to think about letting go gracefully. Sometimes grief sends notice ahead of time. Sometimes it shows up as an unwelcome, uninvited guest. Either way, I know in my head that grief always has love in its suitcase. And if I let it, it will unpack that love for me to look at and admire. Will you rise in body or spirit and join us in hymn number 338, I Seek the Spirit of a Child.
Now is the time for our financial offering. Your contributions will benefit the missions and operations of our church, as well as an outreach to the larger community as we share the undesignated cash offerings that are collected each week. We do this on a quarterly basis for a nonprofit or charitable organization. Our Share the Plate recipient for the second quarter of this year is the Underground. The Underground is a program of a larger group called Unbound Now, whose mission is to fight human trafficking. The Underground is a safe and protective drop-in center in our community for vulnerable youth. On the back of the order service, you'll find a QR code for making contributions that has been provided for your convenience. As a self-funded and self-propelled congregation, we do always need money, but we also rely on the energy and vision of our volunteers, social justice advocates, program committees, administrative committees, building and grounds worker bees, religious exploration teachers, caring committees, and greeters. So regardless of your ability to donate monetarily, there are countless ways to contribute just by being here in community with us Will the ushers, also very helpful, please come forward?
At this time in our service, we pause to honor and to give time and attention to those things most important to us. We gather here for healing and for peace in our hearts and in the world, and honor our time together with the shared stories and news from the congregation. Each week there is a journal outside the entrance to the sanctuary where you can write a message of memory or hope. We honor these messages by lighting 3 candles here next to our chalice. Also, at any time in our service, you are welcome to come forward and light a candle in our meditation center here to the side of the chancel. In our book of memory and hope, it doesn't look like we have anything written down today, but I am going to add to please keep my daughter in your thoughts. She had to go to the emergency room this morning with a broken and gashed foot. So she is now on her way home and got stitches and whatever they do for broken feet. Oh, Joel Bailey wants to hold up his Aunt Margaret for prayers and support, and what is that other word? She fell in her backyard on Monday and broke her hip. Oh, Joel, I'm so sorry. And there was another one. Someone else raised their hand. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry, Joel, it was on the opposite page. So join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Find a comfortable place for your body. Breathe as deeply as you are able. Hold in your mind the image of all things, all beings, coming from the same tree, roots stretched in limitless tangles of connection and sustenance, interconnected and interlaced in a web of living and dying that is so beautifully designed and most times invisible. Join me in breathing. Breathe in for our lives touched by ancestors known and unknown. Breathe out for living lives that will touch our descendants. Breathe in for folks held in loving arms as they were raised up. Breathe out for folks who had to make their own way too early in their lives. Breathe in for beloveds who we hold close in our hearts every day. Breathe out for beloveds we sometimes have trouble reaching out to. Breathe in for loving. Breathe out for losing. Breathe in for parents doing the best they can. Breathe out for the impossible decisions they've had to make. Breathe in for those living with addictions, mental illness, and grief. Breathe out for those living with and caring for folks living with addiction, mental illness, and grief. Breathe in for caregivers of all kinds who give of themselves to make other people's lives better, more whole. Breathe out to honor this holy work. Let us now pause for a few moments of quiet meditation to hold and uplift the sorrows and celebrations, both spoken and unspoken among us. And then Misha will fill our hearts with music. Even though the title of the sermon is The Fellowship of the Least Coin, and you did find a penny in every seat this morning, that's about the least coin we have here in the U.S. I'm going to talk about the parable of the lost coin. Sometimes I take a detour. So the parable of the lost coin, which has many iterations that go much further back in time than the biblical story attributed to Jesus in the book of Luke, tells us of the anguish and grief of a woman known only as a poor widow who has lost a drachma, one of her 10 silver coins. These were likely part of a special, cherished headdress given at marriage, making the loss highly emotional, not just financial. She lights lamps and sweeps the floor carefully until, after a long while, she finds it. She had spent time and emotions worrying that this coin was lost forever. But the story ends as abruptly as it begins. The coin is lost, the coin is searched for, the coin is found. She celebrates. But what about that grief? My long ago exegesis of Luke 15, 8 through 10 kept asking that question. What about that grief? Sure, she was glad to have the set together again, but what was on her mind and heart as she thought about this loss? Was this coin a reminder of what had been or what could have been? I've continued to wonder about this woman and what her life had been before she became the woman known only as the poor widow. The story is likely set in Judea, first century Palestine, but there's nothing to confirm this. She was poor, evidenced by her sweeping a dirt floor by lamplight. She had been married, but her husband somehow had died, and we can imagine that this headdress with the coins meant to her what a wedding ring might mean to me and to you. How many lonely nights were spent, lamps burning low, holding this piece and reliving all the love she had experienced in her marriage. These trails of memories that chronicled their marriage, their children, and maybe even grandchildren. Or could she have sat at night grieving because her husband died before any of that happened? Had she planned a future that never came to pass? No matter how much work I put into that passage, I will never know the truth of her story, her name, her husband's name. And while her story may be lost to time, we know her. Many of us have been her. College, careers, friends, marriage, children, grandchildren, retirement. We have this dream of what our life will look like, and we plan it so carefully. And yet we don't plan for the unthinkable, the interruptions, the derailments, death, illness, job loss, infertility, addiction, divorce. And when tragedies do occur, we are encouraged to grieve the loss, and then after some recommended time, usually not of our own choosing, we are supposed to put that loss behind us. I wonder how the poor widow's friends counseled her. My words this week did take a sharp detour from my plan to talk about how no word or action given in faith or love is too small or inconsequential. I know some were expecting a stewardship message with a sermon title like this, and maybe it is. Just a different kind of stewardship on this Mother's Day, a day that can bring just as many smiles as tears. I know this from experience, and so do you. Every single one of us carries some kind of grief in our heart, and we really need to be gentler on ourselves as we navigate the mountain of losses we face in life. Grief is a mean SOB. Dr. Sharon Berkson, a grief psychologist, says, no one tells you that sometimes you're not grieving the past. You're grieving the future. You're grieving the life you thought you were going to have, the marriage that was supposed to last, the body that was supposed to keep working, a career that was supposed to finally make sense. The version of your life that you've quietly been building everything around, And when that changes, it's not just disappointment, but it can feel like the map you were using to understand your entire life had been ripped out of your hands. Psychology has a language for this. In 1992, Ronnie Janoff Bullman called his grief theory shattered assumptions. And that is a book that you can pick up, Shattered Assumptions Towards a New Psychology of Trauma. He says that when something deeply painful happens, it can break basic beliefs that we have been living inside. That life is somewhat predictable, that the world makes sense, that certain things are safe, that if we do things right, that life is going to go in some way we imagined. So when you're grieving, you may not only be grieving the event itself, you may be grieving the collapse of the world you thought you understood. This is why people can look fine from the outside, but can be completely disoriented on the inside, because they're not just asking what happened, they're asking, what does my life mean now? Who am I now? What future do I have now that the life I imagined is gone? I've asked myself these questions many times throughout my life. I know we all do, because we've all felt loss. From the loss of a job to the loss of a loved one, we built a whole narrative for ourselves around people and things we love. There's nothing more natural and painful than grieving a life that's going differently than you planned. Ancient wisdom has been pointing to this same truth for a very long time. The Stoics taught that we suffer not only from what happens to us, but from the judgment that our life should have gone differently. Not because the pain isn't real, but because the mind adds another layer, that argument with reality. Buddhism teaches that so much suffering comes from clinging, from needing impermanent things to stay the same just so we can stay safe. And that's hard, because we don't cling to things because we're weak. We cling to them because we love them. We cling because we've built a life around them. We cling because we've loved what we lost. We cling because part of us is still trying to get a version back of ourselves that no longer exists. Dr. Bergson continues by saying, so if this is where you are, I don't think the first step would be to force yourself to move on. I think the first step would be forcing yourself to tell the truth. The future you pictured mattered. The version of life you wanted mattered. The dreams you carried mattered. But at some point, life asked you to do something impossible. Stop using your energy trying to return to the old map and begin asking what can still be built from where you actually are. And not the kind of question that tells you to pretend that this is fine, but the kind that tells you to stop staring at what disappeared. The kind that asks, what's still here? Who's still here? What strength is still in me? What beauty hasn't been erased? What part of my life is still asking for me to live? Because sometimes the deepest grief is not the loss of what was. It's the loss of what you thought would be. You can grieve the life that didn't happen and still begin slowly to meet the life that's still here. There are many times in our lives when we can relate to the poor, unnamed widow, finding ourselves searching for our own version of a lost coin. And maybe that is where this stewardship message comes from. Each of us is an important part of what's being built here in this beautiful place. We stand on the shoulders of those who worshiped here before us, those who passed down this precious community so that we could create new family, new lives, new futures, a place where we can tell ourselves hard truths and receive gentleness and understanding in return. So my stewardship ask for this Mother's Day, if there is an ask, is that through life's joys and heartbreaks, through all the expected and unexpected twists and turns, that we remember each of us is grieving some future. Something real changes, and sometimes the future we imagine dies. Allow yourself that. And at some point, when you're ready, allow yourself to feel gratitude for what's still here in your life and in this space. Gratitude will never erase the loss. Gratitude keeps the loss from being the only thing you can see. You are so very loved. Will you rise, embody your spirit, and join us in the closing hymn, number 404, What Gift Can We Bring?
Barbara Cheatham. And now we take our leave. Before we gather here again, may each of us bring happiness into another's life. May we each be surprised by the gifts that surround us. May each of us be enlivened by constant curiosity. And may we remember together in spirit till the hour we meet again.
We have something special to do before we close out the service. And if I'd had time before service, I would have found the proper page. But bear with me. Here we are. Okay. I also need someone to volunteer to bring me a pen. A pen, yes. Thank you so much, Dean. Perfect. All right. Okay. Tabitha Kent has chosen to join our family here, and we want to welcome her. Come on down. Yeah. We're so excited to have you here with us and joining the church, and I want to offer you the ability to sign our book, and so we'll start right here. And let me try to... Thank you. It's always a joyous moment to bring another person into the fold. But what's even better than that for the church is that you chose us. You feel something here, and you want to grow with us. And we want you to grow us as much as we are here to help you grow you. So, welcome. Dean, I'll make sure you get your pen back. Our benediction today comes from Elizabeth Barish Brown. From our very first breath, we reach out. Co-regulation, not self-regulation, is in our nature. We find our cues from the sun and the moon, from each parent and caregiver. We find our place in this great turning planet by turning to one another. Generation to generation, we awaken to the dawn and fall asleep at the evening's end. Our life's journey is part of something greater, something simple, something divine. A flame cannot be lit without a spark. A life cannot begin without the air, and we cannot begin to find ourselves without love. May we reach out to one another. May we offer love and nurturing care. May we join together in celebration of the interdependence of our lives. In this spirit, let us go forth together. Service has now ended. We ask that you stay and join us for coffee and conversation in the library in the back of the sanctuary. And for board members, there is a board meeting following that. Also, buy some cookies and cupcakes out at the stand at the door. They're raising money for a book fair this summer. They're raising money for the child care that's going to accompany the book fair. So it's a